Om Jnana-timandasya Ganangana Salakaya Chaksusumita Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishta Stapita Yena Bhutale Sanyarupa Kadamanya Dadati Swampadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sutta Padakamalan Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupan Sagyata Sagajata Raghunatha Tamvitam Sajivan Sadvaitam Savaidutam Parijana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Parasahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhavitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesa Gopika Kantu Radha Kanta Namastate Tata Kanchana Ghorange Radha Bundamaniswari Vishavana Sutidevi Panamami Haripaye Vanchaka Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitana Pavanavi Bhyavashnavi Vanamana Namo Mahabhudanya Krishna Prima Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Goratase Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Ananda Lila Maya Vigraya Imabada Vichavisundaraya Tasma Maha Primarasa Padaya Chaitanya Chandaya Namana Mastate. So I thank everyone for being here this evening for our nightly discourse on the Bhagavad Gita. So we're in chapter 17. Text number 5 to 6, about divisions of faith. So, in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna, he had asked the Lord about divisions of faith. Because there are three gunas, which is sattva, rajas, and tamas. So Arjuna, you want to find out the different categories of faith which are classified under different gunas. So Lord Krishna is describing to Arjuna what are the different gunas according to one's faith. So in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna had said, yes, aśāstra-vihitaṁ, janti śarīra-sthaṁ, teśaṁ nishta, tuka karṣayantaḥ, ahura-niścayān. So Arjuna has asked, "Oh Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of Scripture, but worship according to their own imagination? So are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance?" So I just want to know, yes, those who abandon the Scriptures, those who abandon the scriptural regulations. They just use their own means, their own imagination to follow certain type of worship, certain type of like sacrifice, austerity, whatever. So I just want to find out if those people, if they are in rajas, sattva, raja, or tama. These are the three different gunas. In the chapter 14, Lord Krishna has described the three modes of material nature. So these three modes of nature is in every sphere of life. Every living entity in this world is situated in any of these particular modes And not just situated anymore, all the activities that one perform, it's all according to the modes. And of course, the modes are also mixed. It's not that one is not purely in Setagun, or one is not purely in Rajagun, one is not purely in Tamagun. So there's always mixture there. Just like a king who may be in Rajagun, because after all, a king has to rule, and in ruling also have to chastise. So which means a king is in the mode of passion. But at the same time also the king may be influenced by, especially when you get very angry or get jealous of another king. So these are the quality of Tama, Tamagun. So which means a person who may be predominantly in the mode of passion, like a king, but at the same time also have the influence of Tamas. So a king, they have the influence. Some element of sattva may also be there, especially the saintly kings. So they may have some element of sattva going in them also. So according to these calculations of the three modes of nature, they can be calculated up to 81, up to 81 different, the way they are mixed together. So up to 81 different categories of the modes are said to be there. So this chapter is specifically dealing with faith, and especially those who are acting outside the religious principles. Such those who have abandoned the scriptural regulations. So this is what we're going to be dealing with today, and today's text. So we just read today's text together. Aśāstra-vihitaṁ ghoraṁ tapyante ye tapo janāḥ dambhāhaṅkāra-saṁyuktāḥ kāma-rāga-balānvitāḥ karṣayantaḥ śarīra-stham bhūta-grāmam acetasaḥ caivāntaḥ śarīra-stham tam viddhy aśura-niścayān. Aśāstra, not in the scriptures. Vihitam, directed. Ghoram, harmful to others. Tapyante, undergo. Ye, those who tapaḥ, austerities. Janāḥ, persons. Dambha, with pride. Ahaṅkāra, and egoism. Saṁyuktāḥ, engaged. Kāma, of lust. Raga, and attachment. Bala, by the force. Anvitāḥ, impelled. Karṣayantaḥ, tormenting. śarīra-stham, situated within the body. Bhūta-grāmam, the combination of material elements. As acetasaḥ, having a misled mentality. Mam, me, cha, also eva, certainly, antaḥ, within, śarīra-stham, situated in the body, tam, them, viddhi, understand, āsura-niścayān, demons. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish, and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the supreme dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Purports. There are persons who manufacture modes of austerity and penance which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions. For instance, fasting for some ulterior purpose, such as to promote a purely political end, is not mentioned in the scriptural directions. The scriptures recommend fasting for spiritual advancement, not for some political end or social purpose. Persons who take to such austerities are, according to Bhagavad Gita, certainly demoniac. Their acts are against the scriptural injunctions and are not beneficial for the people in general. Actually, they act out of pride, false ego, lust, and attachment for material enjoyment. By such activities, not only is the combination of material elements of which the body is constructed disturbed, but also the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself living within the body. Such unauthorized fasting or austerities for some political end are certainly very disturbing to others. They are not mentioned in the Vedic scripture, in the Vedic literature. A demoniac person may think that he can force his enemy or other parties to comply with his desire by this method, but sometimes one dies by such fasting. These acts are not approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He says that those who engage in them are demons. Such demonstrations are insults to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are enacted in disobedience to the Vedic scriptural injunctions. The word acetasaḥ is significant in this connection. Persons of normal mental condition must obey the scriptural injunctions. Those who are not in such a position neglect and disobey the scriptures and manufacture their own way of austerities and penances. One should always remember the ultimate end of the demoniac people as described in the previous chapter. The Lord forces them to take birth in the wombs of demoniac persons. Consequently, they will live by demoniac principles life after life without knowing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If, however, such persons are fortunate enough to be guided by a spiritual master who can direct them to the path of Vedic wisdom, they can get out of this entanglement and they ultimately achieve the supreme goal. So 2 verses, text 5 and 6, is describing the austerity performed by the demoniac persons, aśāstra-niścayān. Those who out of demoniac propensities perform certain types of austerities, certain types of sacrifice. And of course, it's mentioned here that because of, due to dambha, pride, ahaṅkāra, false ego, and with the desire for lust, who are full of lust, materialistic attachments. So therefore, such persons, they perform, different types of austerities. And of course, devotees perform austerities. The devotees of Lord Vishnu perform tapaḥ here. It mentioned that Vasudeva Paranjagha, Vasudeva Parayogo, Vasudeva Parantapa, Vasudeva Parankriya. So I mentioned that the purpose of performing austerities is to satisfy Vasudeva, Krishna. The purpose of performing all kinds of sacrifices is to satisfy, to attain the Supreme Lord. The purpose of performing all kinds of yoga means connection. Yoga means to connect with the Lord, to be in union. Yoga doesn't mean to perform some gymnastic, to stand on your head so that you can become physically fit. That is not yoga. That is just some physical exercise. But the yoga means to achieve union with the divine. So, and then of course, Vasudeva, all kind of activities is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva. Vasudevan Parangati. He is the ultimate goal of life. So this austerity that devotees of the Lord perform, like waking up early in the morning, before Brahma Muhurta, wake up, take shower, bathe yourself, clean your body, so that you can attend to spiritual activities, like coming to Mangalati or doing some japa meditation. So all these things is involved austerity, because instead of, normally the materialists, they sleep late at night. Usually just nowadays people, they watch television till midnight, or some go to the clubs, drink, and then so they sleep after 12, and then they wake up, they sleep till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, Whereas the spiritualists, no, they don't do that. The spiritualists, they go to bed on time, 9:30, maximum 10 o'clock, they go to bed, and then by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they are awake, because that is the time. Because between 10 and 2 o'clock in the morning, that's considered to be the mode of ignorance. It's the most of nature, all the tama, the bad elements, they are very, very active during those times. Very, very active during those times. So therefore, this is the time that the spiritualists, they go to bed, they go to take rest, they sleep. And then they wake up, then after 2:30 in the morning, by 3 o'clock, the atmosphere changes. It becomes sattvic atmosphere. Because the morning is, Brahma Muhurta is coming, the best time to engage in spiritual activities. Just like in Krishna Lila, when Krishna is performing his Lila, the there's a lila called a Nishanta lila. This Nishanta lila is approximately between 4 to 4:30 in the morning. This is the time when when they wake up from their divine lila, they wake up. This is the time when Lalita Vishaka, they engage the cuckoos, the parrots to start singing, so that Radha Krishna can wake up and then they can go to their home, so that their mothers will not suspect that they were not in the house. So Mother Yashoda will not know that Krishna had been performing Raslila in the night time, but she will just know that Krishna had waken up. She's going to wake up Krishna, and as she sees so many marks on his body, she sees so many marks, and then she'll be chastising all the maid servants that they did not properly bathe Krishna the night before, because she will never know that Krishna was engaging Raslila, with the gopis. So this is the spiritual activities between that time, So to bring us back to this point, that it's a form of sacrifice that devotees perform. However, the non-devotees, they also perform austerities. Tapasya. They also perform all these things. They perform sacrifices. But so in the beginning, Arjuna asked Krishna that, Trividya Bhavati. No. He asked Krishna that, yes, Sasa Viddhim Ustrijya, Ajante Shradayamvita. So Arjuna was asking Krishna that for those who have discarded, they've thrown away the regulation of the scriptures. Those who don't care for the scriptures, they perform their sacrifice just for the sake of it, because they have a certain goal to perform. So Arjuna was asking Krishna, in what categories of guna do those type of people belong to? Just like Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu, a big demon, politically the biggest demon of his time. So he wanted to have power that is much more than any demigods. He wanted to have power so that he can become immortal, so that he can be a great chastiser of the devotees. So Hiranyakashipu, so he went to the mountains and was performing very, very great austerity that he was performing by standing on the tip of his toe, and then with his hand high up like this, meditating like this. He was performing this austerity. He wasn't meditating, because to meditate means to think of Lord Vishnu. But he was performing this austerity because he wanted to invoke Lord Brahma. So he was performing this austerity for thousands and thousands of years. Very rigorous austerities. That, for so many years, actually for 60,000 years, actually. More than 10,000 years. So this because in that time, people, they were living for a long period of time. They were living in Satya Yuga. People live for 100,000 years. So therefore, one can perform austerity for hundreds of thousands of years. And that time, of course, people also have the capability to perform austerity in those ages. So when Hiranyakashipu was performing these severe austerities, he developed such a big power that the whole universe was affected. The whole universe was affected by the performance of his austerity. Just like the Lord is mentioning in this text, that such people, such demonic persons, they perform the austerity so that they become a big burden on the earth. They become a burden on the earth. Torturing their own body, torturing the whole earth. So, Hiranyakashipu was performing this austerity, that the demigods, they have to go to Lord Brahma, cry out to him that, please, Brahmaji, do something, because the performance of this sacrifice is going to destroy the universe. It's making all of us choking. It's going to kill every living entity in this universe. So they're begging the Lord Brahma to go do something. So Lord Brahma, he went to Hiranyakashipu, where he went to the spot where Hiranyakashipu was performing his austerity. And when Lord Brahma first arrived there, he did not see him. Why? Because the body which Hiranyakashipu was performing austerity with, that body had been eaten away by the ants. The body was completely eaten away by the ants. So but his soul was simply there within some hills, because his body was completely eaten away by the ants. But he was able to maintain his his life. Actually, for those who have developed more yogi power, they don't require the gross body to survive. The gross body is not required to survive for those who have developed yogi power, because you have 8 elements. Bhumi, Apanalova, Yukam, Manabudhi, Vacha. You have earth, water, fire, air, intelligence. So even by the subtle body, one can maintain one's life. No matter the yogis, they can maintain themselves. They can give up the gross body and still maintain their life through the subtle body. So when Lord Brahma came, he did not see Hiranyakashipu, but he was able to detect that his life here, the soul, was somewhere within the hill. So Lord Brahma, from his kamandalu, he sprinkled some water, and then that gave a brand new body to Hiranyakashipu. The body is so big, so powerful, and that it's compared to the strength of thousands of elephants. So powerful body. And then, of course, when Lord Brahma asked Hiranyakashipu that, what do you want? Why are you performing this austerity? He said, I want to become immortal. I want to become immortal. I don't know death, deathless. So Lord Brahma said, well, that is impossible, because even myself, I'm not immortal. So how can I give you what I don't have? So how can I give you what I don't have if you're asking for it? Then Hiranyakashipu said, okay, just give me a benediction that I will not be killed by a human or an animal or a demigod. Either a human being, animal, or demigods. Lord Vishnu said Lord Brahma said, okay, I give you. So that Hiranyakashipu, because he knows that Lord Vishnu may take the form of an animal, a human being, or a demigod to kill. So if he has those benedictions, okay, no animal or no human being or no demigod can kill him, then, or any mammals can kill him, you know that, okay, he's protected from being killed by Lord Vishnu. And then he asked Lord Brahma that, let me not be killed in the daytime or nighttime. Either daytime or nighttime. So Lord Brahma said, yes, I give you benediction. So that a person can be killed only daytime or nighttime. A person can die only daytime or nighttime. And then he also asked, let me not be killed outside or inside. So Hiranyakashipu, he thought of any form of ways by which a person can die. So when he found out, and Lord Brahma said, yes, okay, I will give you. So when he makes sure that now I've gotten all these benedictions from Lord Brahma, so Hiranyakashipu was very happy. He said, now, thank you for your benediction. Now I am immortal. Because I figured now nobody can kill me. Now I am immortal. I cannot be killed by human beings, by animals, or by demigods. I cannot be killed by in the daytime or nighttime, outside or inside, in the ground or in the sky. Everywhere I cannot be killed. So I'm immortal. So the Kashyapa became very happy, and then he became a great terrorizer of the universe. He makes all the Brahmanas, everyone, no one can no longer perform any sacrifice to please Lord Vishnu. He stopped everything. And of course, as they say that if one is pierced by a thorn, it's only if a thorn is stick in one's leg. Let's say you are walking in the forest barefooted, and then you step on a thorn, and that thorn has stick in it's just in your leg. So the only way to remove the thorn is by using another thorn to remove it. So so another thorn is required to remove this thorn which got stuck in the head, and that thorn was the son of Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj, who happened to be a devotee of Lord Vishnu. So that story is there. Of course, when we read it, it's 7 canto Bhagavatam, we can understand the story of this particular story. And then we also have the case of Vrikasura. Because, just like Prabhupada was mentioning in this purport, that people, they perform any kind of austerity sacrifices just out of false ego, out of ahaṅkāra, out of pride. Or people, they engage in fasting just for some political end. When the scripture clearly says that the purpose of any kind of sacrifice, austerity or whatever, the purpose is to satisfy Lord Vishnu. There's no other purpose. There's no other reason why a person should perform austerity or fasting. No other purpose. But people, they will discard such austerity. They will give up the guidance of scriptures. They say, we don't care for what the scripture says. Because they have their goal in mind. The goal is for sense gratification. So therefore, they will adopt any means which is not which is not according to the regulation of the scriptures. So Vrikasura was another demon, and Vrikasura, he was performing a very tough sacrifice, very tough austerity actually, to please Lord Shiva. Performing and what was he doing? He was performing a sacrifice by cutting his own flesh. He cut his own flesh and offered it as an oblation into the fire, because he wanted to please Lord Shiva. So with a sharp knife, he will cut his own flesh. He was cutting, offering the flesh to the fire. But Lord Shiva was not coming. Lord Shiva was not showing up. So Lord Shiva was not showing up. He was becoming very frustrated that why Shivaji is not coming. So it's okay. I want to do the ultimate sacrifice. So he was ready to cut off his own head. He was ready to cut off his own head so that Lord Vishnu can eventually, so that Lord Vishnu can eventually, not Lord Shiva, can eventually, have his darshan for him. So he was ready to cut off his own head. So as he was about to, he went to the fire, and he was about to cut off his head. So Lord Shiva appears. Okay, he said, just hold on, don't kill yourself. What do you want? What do you want? Let me just turn this one off. Okay. So Lord Shiva asked him, what do you want? It's okay. My dear Shivaji, please, let me, whatever I touch, I want to be able to kill anybody that I touch. Anybody that I touch, I want that person to die. Whoever I touch, I want the person to die. I want his head to explode. That's all I want from him. That's all I want. You can see the demons, what they want for the result of their austerity is to cause harm to others. Whereas devotees, when devotees perform their austerities, the purpose of the devotees' austerities is for developing love of God, to develop love for God, to render service, loving service to the Lord, and their sacrifice, their austerities, actually create auspiciousness for the world. It does not create trouble for the world. It creates auspiciousness, for the world. But the demons, their goal, is to perform the austerity so that to become a burden, to become a trouble, for the world. So Bhikkhasura asked Lord Shiva that I want to be able to, anybody I touch with my hand, I want that person's head to crack, to burst into pieces. So Lord Shiva, he has no choice. So he gave him the benediction. He gave him. Because Lord Shivaji is called Ashutosh. When you worship him, whatever you want, he will give you. Now, because these crazy demons is so crooked, he said, now that I've got this power, let me kill Shiva himself. So that if I kill him, then I can have his wife. I can have Parvati. Parvati can become my wife. So that was his desire. So Lord Shiva has given this benediction, and now because it's okay, we say, my dear Shivaji, I want to know if this benediction is work or not. Let me touch you. Lord Shiva said, brother, you can't touch me. So it became troublesome for Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva has to be running away from this demon, and he was running away, and this demon was running after Lord Shiva to touch Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva was running, he was running, and this demon was following. So as Lord Shiva was running away, so Lord Vishnu came. Lord Vishnu came as a young boy, and he stopped them, and the Lord Vishnu, as a young boy, he asked this demon that, what happened? Why are you running after Shivaji? And then Vikasura said, well, I have this benediction from Lord Shiva that anybody I touched, that person should be able to die. So therefore I want to test this benediction, this blessing. I want to test it on Lord Shiva himself, so that I can be assured that it's going to work. So, Vishnu, in his small boy, very, very charming, he said, how can you trust Lord Shiva? How can you trust him? Just say, somebody who doesn't have a house, he lives in crematorium, he doesn't wear a dress, his body is all smeared with ashes, snake on his head. How can you trust him? You cannot trust him. If I were you, why don't you can touch your head, you will see that this thing doesn't work. You can touch your head, you will see it's a fake blessing. So this Vikasura, so he trusted the boy. He said, oh, maybe you are right. So he put his hand on his head, and of course, the moment he touched his head, the head burst, and then he died. So in this way, Lord Shiva was saved. But the demons are like that, because they have some benediction. For them, is to create trouble for the whole world, to them. But the devotees do not engage in those kind of sacrifice. And of course, devotees do not engage in any kind of sacrifice if it's meant to satisfy Lord Vishnu. So Narada Muni said, Aradito yadi arita pasatata kim, Naradito yadi arita tapasatata kim, Antabahi yadi harita pasatata kim, Nantabahi yadi arita pasatata kim. So, Narada Muni said that what is the purpose of a sacrifice What is the purpose of austerity if Lord Hari is not worshipped? What's the purpose of austerity if Lord Hari is not worshipped? And if one is not worshipping of Hari, what's the benefit of, what's the usefulness of one's austerity? And if one does not realize that Hari is situated within the heart, what's the purpose of austerity? And if one has realized that yes, Hari is within the heart, then austerity is no more needed. So that is there, as they say, Vasudeva Param Tapa, Vasudeva, the goal of Vasudeva, the goal of us austerity is to attain Vasudeva, is to attain the Lord. So therefore, the activities of those who are demoniac, it's fully stated here in this chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Those who simply engage in any kind of sacrifice or kind of austerity, kind of worship, without any regulation, without any guidance of the scriptures. But that is not the goal, the purpose of the faithful, the purpose of the devotees. Those who are actually engaging in the real sacrifice, in the real austerity to please the Supreme Lord. So I'm going to stop here. If there is any question or comment, anything? Yeah.
So how come when Arjuna performed the austerities to get the Ashura-niścayān from Lord Shiva, how come it's not demonic? It was also like having a political motive to please Lord Shiva.
Yeah, because whatever you worship Lord Shiva for, you get it. So, because Lord Shiva is very kind, he's called Ashutosh, it's very, one worship him and one get, one's desire end. So, because Surya was worshiping Lord Shiva, he was doing the intense, tough sacrifice, cutting his own flesh. So, Lord Shiva was, he came to fulfill his desire. The question was that, your question was how come Lord Shiva was...
how come when Arjuna performed the austerities to get the Pashupat Astra?
Oh, Pashupat Astra, okay.
How come it is not classified as a demonic
well, okay. Because, it's good you repeated the question because I didn't hear properly. Arjuna was a devotee. And Arjuna was performing tapaḥ because he was going to do Dhamma Yudh. It's a religious fighting. It wasn't an ordinary thing. It was for the ultimate benefit of the world, because the rightful kingdom had been usurped. So Arjuna, he was pleasing all the demigods, especially Lord Shiva, to benedict him, to give him the weapon. So Lord Shiva gave him the Pashupat Astra also, which occurs in the form of, because Lord Shiva know that Arjuna is not going to misuse it. Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord. It's not, whatever is given, he's not going to misuse it. Whereas the demons, they will misuse whatever is given to them. But devotees do not misuse what is given to them. So that's the difference. So Arjuna is a devotee. Arjuna is a Vaishnava. He was a Vaishnava. He was not a demoniac.
So basically, a Vaishnava can perform austerities for meeting the political ends, or
not for political ends. No, the Prabhu mentioned in the Prabhu devotee, they don't waste their time in doing something, performing something for some political end, like fasting for political end. No, all they do is simply for the attaining the Lord's service, not for any other purpose. Devotee perform austerity only to attain the Lord, not for some political purpose. Only those with demoniac mentality do that, not devotees. So this is very simple to understand, is it? Is that okay? Yeah. And of course, our fasting, our austerity is very simple. As Vaishnava, we follow basic regulations, wake up on time, do our japa, perform devotional service, fasting on the ekadasis, or some other, or you can even do any fasting you want to do, as long as the goal is how to attain love of God, how to attain loving service to God. So therefore, devotees perform austerity. Actually, the life of a devotee is a life of austerity. It's a life of austerity, because devotees give up any kinds of desire for personal sense gratification. So it's considered a life of austerity, a life of to give up a life of sense gratification. It's not easy thing for anyone in this world. It's not easy. For example, we are here in Bhagavad Gita class, but most people, they rather go to a cinema hall, or they want to watch their favorite series, whatever it is. But you are here, you are attending Bhagavad Gita class. So that's a form of austerity, because you're hearing something by which the ultimate goal of life can be attained. So that is austerity itself. Whereas just to gratify the eyes, the senses, in the form of engaging some sense gratificatory activities, that is not even pleasing to the mind. You have some temporary gratification, but the end is not so good like that. So, that's the thing. Everybody has to perform austerity, either devotee or non-devotees. But it's a matter of what we are performing austerity for. Everyone has to perform austerity. Materialistic also, to enjoy yourself, you have to work for it, you have to sacrifice something. It's not easy. But we rather perform austerity as devotee to attain Krishna, not to attain for sense gratification. No. Another thing? Yeah.
Thank you very much for explaining different examples of austerity in other people. But as we hear this Vikaso pastime many times, on one hand we understand Vikaso to say at least that much intelligence he had that he has to worship Lord Shiva to get some benediction.
Yeah.
And he got the benediction. So people looking like him that much better intelligent person than normal.
Yeah.
When he wanted to use that boon, how he become, let us say, so like fool in front of this small boy, and he got agree with his proposal.
Yeah, because Lord Vishnu know that Shiva is in trouble. Because he's in trouble because Vikasura wanted to test the boon on Lord Shiva. So in order to save Lord Shiva, so Lord Vishnu had to assume this very attractive, very, very mind captivating form of this Vikasura. So Lord Vishnu came as a very young boy. So young boy doesn't look threatening. A young boy everyone is pleased by a young boy. A very attractive young boy. So just by seeing that form of a young boy, so Vikasura was completely captivated. His mind, his senses, completely captivated at this. Oh, what's a sweet young boy? What a sweet boy! He didn't know that he was Lord Vishnu. If he knows he's Lord Vishnu, of course, But he was very, very captivated. So this is a young boy. So he became captivated by that, and then he whatever he said, he listened. Because Lord Vishnu has a goal. Lord Vishnu has a goal in mind to get rid of this Vikasura. So therefore, the Lord also used his own potency to make sure that this demon is captivated. So therefore, he chose this form, this young boy form. Just like when Mohini came, also. Vishnu also came. He also came as Mohini when the demigods and demons, when they were fighting. I mean, not fighting. When they do the Samudra, the journey of the ocean. That time when the nectar came out of the ocean, and then the demigods they snatched the pot So Lord Vishnu has assumed this form of woman very captivating, that everybody became completely, everybody lost their mind basically when they see this form. So, the Lord has immense energy to do that, because the Lord will do everything for the, for the goodness of his devotees only. So therefore the Lord has to take this form of captivating the demoniac. Lord Vishnu didn't just come to he could have just come and use his chakra to kill Vikasura. He could have just do that. But no, they want Vikasura to be killed by his own effort. He wanted to be killed that way. So therefore Lord Vishnu, chose this form to bewilder him in this small form. Is it? I think it's very simple to understand. Are you agree with me? Somewhere. Lord Vishnu has to choose that form. Lord Vishnu chose that form of a small boy.
That is okay. But the person who did so much austerity, and then he got tapo, and then when a small boy came and he said, no, this Lord Shiva was speaking by.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Because
any form we can understand Samina and this and that, and all demons got bewildered and they believe, and this happens also normally.
Yeah.
They is attracted with the woman, whatever woman says, they say this is kāma-rāga-balānvitāḥ. So they get.
Yeah. But
The small boy.
because it was not ordinary small boy, because the boy is very attractive, super attractive boy, and the boy was speaking very, very sweetly, very sweet. Tractate is intelligent. The Lord knows his purpose. I said the Lord knows his purpose. So therefore the Lord used because the Lord has to do a damage control to make sure this Vikasura does not do anything towards Lord Shiva. So, and of course, it's not that Lord Shiva was also powerless. I say it's not that Lord Shiva was also powerless. It's not that he's powerless that he could not have killed this demon. But he has to protect his bone, because he has given this bone, and Lord Shiva needs to make sure that this bone works, because this is his bone. He has given the bone. It's not that he could have just turned around and killed him, and killed the demon. But this is all pastimes, which was enacted that, Lord Shiva has given his bone, the bone stands, and then Lord Shiva came, Lord Vishnu came and do what is necessary, to do. After all, Lord Shiva is also not different from Lord Vishnu. It's not different from Lord Vishnu. So therefore, Lord Vishnu comes and in the form of a young boy to bewilder the demon, to bewilder him. So he touched his head, and then he finished himself. So which means Lord Shiva's bone remains, it acts, it fulfills its purpose. Lord Shiva's bone fulfills its purpose that way. So Vedic scriptures is full of so many wonderful stories. Vedic scriptures full of so many wonderful stories, like that. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Srila Prabhupada ki